people in Sweden who is working with film, who has money and power, and they ask me, why don't you do lesbian stories? You're together with a woman, why don't you do that? And I always answer like, well, I don't have a problem with that. You know, film is about problems, right? And I love lesbians, I love trans, I love gay, that's wonderful. Like that's life. That's what I want.
Today on Rainbow Country, my coverage of the 49th edition of the Toronto International Film Festival continues, and on this episode, a short film from Sweden whose title is rather provocative, and I will say, listener discretion advised. The name of that short film, Fuck Me. Out clubbing with friends, a woman acts according to the roles and rules she's been taught, only to discover that different ones may apply. Joining me to talk about this short film is the film's director, award-winning queer filmmaker, Anette Sidor.
Hi there, I'm Bennett Singer, a documentary filmmaker and the co-director of the new film Cured, which is currently available on PBS and on the PBS video app. You are listening to Rainbow Country with Mark Tara.
Anette Sidor. Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. It's amazing to be in Toronto. I just love it.
First of all, am I saying your name correctly? Anette Sidor? Sidor?
Sidor, Anette Sidor, but maybe in English it will be Anette Sidor. I don't know. Actually, it means pages if you translate it. So
Pages.
yeah, sometimes when I was at a festival earlier, they did somehow translate it, so it said Annette Page, and I was like Ellen Page, Annette Page. Yes, I can do that.
Oh, okay. You, first of all, thank you for your time, and thank you for being on the show. You have a short film, part of the 49th edition of the Toronto International Film Festival. How has your TIFF experience been so far?
Oh, amazing. I mean, this is a great festival. I'm part of the Shortcuts program, and there is just so many amazing filmmakers, and it's a great program, amazing films as well. So I'm really happy to be here, to be invited.
So you are a filmmaker. Your film is called, and prepare yourself, everyone, prepare yourself. But your film is called Fuck Me. Fuck Me.
Yes.
Let's start with this title. What is the story behind this particular title for your short film, Fuck Me? Because I'm sure there has to be one.
Yes. I mean, I thought the title was it was so obvious that the Fuck Me had to be the title, because it's basically what it's about. It's about a girl. It's about norms, first of all, norms, gender norms, femininity. I wanted to explore further how women are so good at playing this, the role of this perfect woman, and to be, an object, to be sexy, to focusing on the other person's needs and feelings. And so I was exploring femininity norms, if I say that. And for me, I think femininity is irresistible. You can't really say no to that, right? So it started out, I saw an image of a beautiful young man who was only in his boxers, and you could see that he had a erection under his shorts. And he was laying backwards with arms crossed, and he looked really passive and very beautiful. And I was looking at this image, and it looked like he wasn't on his way acting on his erection. And couldn't really believe in this image. I was like, a horny man saying no to sex. What is that? Is that possible? So it got stuck with me, and I wanted to explore the situation behind the image, like who was there with him. And I thought, if it's a woman, and if she's playing, she's doing everything right, she's playing this role perfectly, what would happen? What would she feel in this situation? So that was the start, I think. And then Fuck Me was just, I also had, I was here with my previous film, Fuck You, a couple of years ago. So there is a connection between those films, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So, okay. So did you get any pushback when it comes to the title for your 2024 short, maybe even as well as your 2018 short? That one was called Fuck You. That was an award-winning short. But this one, because I'll share a little story with you. Last TIFF, there was a Canadian feature that was called Pussy, and it had to change its name. And it changed its name to Soft. So, did you get any pushback?
I mean, this is the world premiere, and no, not so far. Like I know that it's much harder to sell a short film with this kind of name. Like we had that problem with Fuck You, and sometimes festivals and TV channels and other places don't want to buy it because of its name. But for me, since I made Fuck You and it went very well, and I was like, this name is so perfect for the story. That's what it's all about, basically. And so, it's worth it. Even if I miss out on some things, I think also it stands out in a way. And people can also see what I do as a filmmaker, how I work, like it's connected. And also there is a third film coming. It's a feature film. But
Is that called Fuck Us?
Fuck yeah, I don't know. I haven't actually decided exactly what to call it, but because I think it's more problematic with feature films. So maybe that's why this other film, Pussy, what was the name? Pussy?
It was called Pussy, but they had to change it to Soft, and it was a feature.
Soft. Oh my God. They changed from Pussy to Soft?
Correct.
Wow. Well, I think feature films, it's a bigger market for those films. And I think that's, maybe. So that's why I don't know what to call the third film. But I'm thinking about somehow getting in a F. I don't know how, but we'll see. Because I think it's nice. I think it's funny, So,
Yeah, I think North America is a little uptight at times, and I think North America needs to relax.
yes.
Relax and enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
You were mentioning you have your 2018 film Fuck You that's award winning.
Yes.
Is 2024's Fuck Me, is this a sequel?
What do you mean? What does it mean? Sorry, my English.
A sequel, it's like a follow-up to
Well, it's not a follow-up.
or a continuation of the story to some degree.
Yeah. I work with the same themes. I work with gender norms, specifically femininity and masculinity. So I work with gender norms, femininity, masculinity, sex, and power. If I only choose one of those, I would say power is actually what I do. And so they are all connected. Like everything I write is about that somehow. I always end up writing new sex scenes. It's like I can't sometimes. And my wife, she was like, "Can you write something normal? Can you do something really normal?" And I actually try, and then I end up writing a new sex scene. So it's like it's a curse. Can't get out of it.
It's interesting that in your 2024 film, the main character is female, and she asks for what she wants, but she's rejected.
Yeah.
And I think that it's interesting because the commentary being set there that potentially sometimes when women go after what they want, they're rejected.
Yes. Well, for me, it was like the idea actually came from this image of this young man. And for me, I had a problem, because masculinity norms says that men should always want to have sex. They should always
be the aggressor.
Yeah. So my problem was that I couldn't see that a man could say no to a feminine, like this perfect woman. But I was also, so the hardest thing with the film was because when we had the script, because there is not many dialogue, many lines to
Hmm.
actually tells what she feels in this situation. And I remember when I wrote the scene, the script, I said to my producers, I was like, I don't even know if it's possible to tell this story, because there is nothing to hold on to. And it's a lot of images of a long sex scene. And how do I actually do that and still like tell the story within only visuals? And what is she? And I knew what I wanted her to experience in the end, and what I wanted her to feel. But when a lot of people read the script, they always, when it comes to women and sex and sexuality, they always, it's always land on shame, that she feel
Hmm.
shame about something, or
Hmm.
rejected about him, or people feel sorry for her in a way. And I was like, well, she still have the power. For me, in that situation, she's not vulnerable. She's just playing a game. She's
Hmm.
doing this. She's just following the gender norms. She's just doing what she learned since very young age, to grow up as a girl. So for me, it was the opposite,
Hmm.
basically, that she still have the power, and it's more of a she's more of a she gets surprised that a guy actually, because what is happening in this situation? He actually sees her. He's a giver. He actually is a feminine energy in that room because he wants to give her pleasure. He's focusing on her. So it's
Hmm.
the two femininities meeting each other.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
like, yeah,
But then she says those two words
fuck me.
and he walks away.
Yes. Because what do you think? What
Because
did
I think that he didn't want to go there. So she asked for what she wanted,
Mm,
but then she was rejected. And sometimes I think that, I mean, this is what I took away from the film. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when women know what they want and
mm.
they go after what they want, they can be perceived as, aggressive, shrill, a bitch, and can potentially be rejected,
Yes,
right?
because
And so I
women
think
should,
at the very end, that's what happens to her.
mm,
And she's rejected by asking for what she wants.
yeah. I mean, in a way, you're not supposed to be that driven as a woman.
Mm,
You're supposed to be passive, and the man should be the one who drives the situation. So in a way, I mean, yes, I know what you mean. Like, if a woman is too much or too horny or whatever, um, that can be too much because it's not supposed to be like that. So that's another point of view of it, of course.
Do you see yourself as a provocative filmmaker?
No, actually not, because I remember when I did Fuck You, I did a film who was really like, it was just my world, the knowledge I've gained from my teenage years and until now. And people said it was really provocative. And I was like, okay, well, is it? I didn't see that at all. It's not something I'm seeking for. I'm just want to create, first of all, I want to create dream. That's why I work with fiction and not documentaries. And I want to create empowering stories. I want to lift up what I think is the problem, which is like norms, basically, and hierarchies and power and these rules that we all are following without even, sometimes we don't know it. The expectations we put on each other, especially in a sexual situation, we have so much expectations. And in a sexual situation, it's also like a lot of things is about like what is to have great sex, what is good sex. It's a time frame as well, like how long should we have sex, how should we have sex, like what can actually happen. And I think sex should be the opposite. It should be to explore the now with another person. So I think these norms, this hierarchy, this rules that we are following can be really toxic in a way.
A lot of your films tell LGBT stories. For you as a filmmaker, why is it important for you as a filmmaker to tell queer stories?
First of all, I'm queer. I'm pansexual, I would say, or lesbian, or I don't really know, but I'm not heterosexual. And I think a lot of times I get this question from people in Sweden who is working with film, who has money and power, and they ask me, why don't you do lesbian stories? You're together with a woman, why don't you do that? And I always answer like, well, I don't have a problem with that. Film is about problems, right? And I love lesbians, I love trans, I love gay, I love that's wonderful. Like that's life. That's what I want, but films is about problem. And I think my first issues when I was a little girl, actually, what I met was the norms and how I didn't really fit into this to be this perfect girl, and how I noticed that I did change a lot when I was hanging out with my friends, like girlfriends, and we had fun. And then suddenly, when we were hanging out with the guys, how all of us just changed and became something else. We were not supposed to be funny with the guys because they were supposed to be funny, and we were supposed to laugh at their jokes, basically. So all of these things has been with me for, as long as I can remember. And that is my biggest issue with this world, this very, very small roles that we should play. And I mean, if I have a message, it's that I believe that we are everything. I believe that we are, whoever you are, you're both feminine and masculine, and you can vary between those. And I do love the extreme. I think it's super sexy with femininity and masculinity and everything in between. And I think that we have to, be whoever we want to be, basically. So, and I don't see that in this society. I don't see that we can be that. I see that we expect a lot of a woman and of a man. So we're basically in the same jail. Like it's the freedom is for me to be able to be whatever you want.
Well said. Well said. I have to say, Anette Sidor, well said, well done, well filmed. Thank you for your time. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. And thank you for watching the film and for very nice talking to you.